Get the tools you need to become a free and independent trainer with my Dumbbells to Dollars course at www.dumbbells2dollars.com. How we doing, everybody? Jonathan here. And in this video, I am joined by Mr. Robert Linkle, who I call Bobby the Brain. I'm going to call you Robert the Brain because that's your name, Robert the Brain. All right. And I brought him on because if there's anybody that does things with organization and with thought, it is Robert. And a lot of trainers have reached out to me on how they can best reopen to make their clients feel comfortable. And as we're all aware, the older population was listed as some of the most vulnerable people to COVID-19. And Robert's population is exclusively, or almost exclusively, the older population. That's his main focus. So how long ago did California reopen for you?
We haven't yet. We opened this Friday.
But you've been ready for weeks now.
Oh, for weeks. We've had this place staged and ready to go. And with every thought and mindset of I'm 80 years old and I have one of the underlying concerns or multiple of the underlying concerns, how am I going to open my business and say, here's what we're doing to take care of you to make sure when you come back, you're going to be safe. And so we're going above and beyond. But remember, our average client's 68 years old. Right. I have clients that are 95 years old that are going to come back. And they're like beating down the door to come back. And then I have others that are like, I'll see you in August. And I'm like, no problem. Sure. So we're kind of all across the board, but we have been staged and ready and prepped to go. Really after 2 weeks, it was like, how can we get this rolling again? Which is kind of the original quote we were given. We're going to shut down for 2 weeks and then reevaluate. And here we are 3 months later.
Sure. Well, I guess that's how it goes.
It is.
But it looks like you have a nice little setup. Do you want to give us an explanation of how you've prepared your gym?
I'll take you guys for a ride with me. All right. So you are a new client coming in. Mm-hmm. Before you get in here, I am meeting you outside. You're in your car still. These are the standards we're going by. And I give you a little wave and you come up and you're wearing the mask. I have a wireless temperature reader that I do a little scan on you, and as long as we're good on that.
And where did you get that?
This was on Amazon. They range anywhere from like $69.99 to $300, depending on how good you want. I got the middle of the road one. This one was like $110, something like that.
Okay, so wireless temperature.
Yeah, wireless temperature. So we have that guy, and then we have our little Q&A sheet that we have to go through. Do you have a cough, shortness of breath, loss of smell or taste, sore throat, muscle pains, vomiting, or exposure to anyone that has COVID? And as long as they answer no to all of those, they can come in, they head to the back, they go to the bathrooms. We have 2 of them, wash their hands, and then they can put all their stuff away in the back. We have cubbies back there. And then when they come back, they can take their masks off and they're ready to roll. Because we do not want them to exercise with their masks on. That's going to be more dangerous than good.
Completely in agreement with you.
You and I know we both stand in the same place, I think, with the mask training. Yeah. So this is the setup. Everybody has their own like 300 square foot space. We have bands and benches and mats and their own landmine, their own pulleys, their own anchors. They'll pull weights, they'll pull kettlebells and dumbbells out and bring them out into their own spaces. We have all of our movement prep, warm up, all written on this side, and then is mirrored on that side. And then we'll have simulation warm-ups playing on the screen up there. Mm-hmm. So everyone will be in their spot, stay inside there. They all do their stuff. Any equipment that gets brought into one of their rectangles stays there until we're done. So even if they only used it once, they keep it there. So we had to go out and buy a whole bunch of new equipment to make sure we had enough for everybody. So we do the whole workout. And then when we get done, they will use medical wipe grades. These are from Zogics, okay, medical grades.
And what's the name of that company again? Where'd you get them?
Zogics.
Okay.
Zogics, Zogics. They have 3 different grades of cleaner. The purple one, I don't know what number that is, but the purple one is the one that is the highest medical grade.
Okay.
And it kills 99.9% of germs. And the 2 components that make the COVID are killed by this, but it still doesn't cover everything. So an alcohol spray between 60 and 80% or somewhere abouts in there, mixed and brought in with water. After everything gets wiped down, sorry, I have a bad word on there. That's my COVID killer. So we have that guy. Once they wipe down everything and they put it all away, so we go from 5 a.m. to 5:50. They wipe everything down, they put it all away, and for the next 10 minutes, I go around with that alcohol spray and spray the entire room. I crank on all the fans, crank on the air conditioner, and just for 10 minutes, it has to sit for 5 to 8 minutes. We let everything air out, everything dry, everything cleaned off. So not only has it been cleaned with the medical wipes, but it's been sprayed. And then our next group, all of our clients wash their hands, they go, and then the next group's outside and they're waiting and they're ready for the next flight. So 10 minutes goes by, I head out, and we start that whole process over again.
Okay, so let me see if I got that all correct. So you got the wipes from Zogics, right? That's what the clients use to wipe down the equipment when they're done with it.
Correct.
Where did you get the alcohol?
Also from Zogics. You can order it really anywhere. We originally had 95% alcohol that you had to water down.
Uh-huh.
And if you get between the 60 and 80, you don't have to water it down. And so misting it works just fine. If you're going to spray it direct, you do need to water it down a little bit, I think. But it's not much. The reason we went with the alcohol, we trained a couple of doctors who sent us very good information showing that the alcohol kills 100%. We don't even need to use the wipes. But to have everything covered, just to have overkill, really, I wanted to do both. And now, of course, like in the last week or two, it shows that like direct contact with COVID actually doesn't translate or transfer. And so there's definitely a component to this where I'm like, I don't even want to touch that right now. I just want to make sure my place is just super clean. And we're doing everything to showcase to our clients until that's like 100% confirmed and that's not the issue, then we're going to keep doing this. Okay. So we wipe, we clean, we spray everything. The alcohol, as opposed to bleach, doesn't do a lot of damage on our leather benches, our leather mats, our leather boxes that we're sitting on right now. The bleach will do some damage to that. So a lot of people are like, just do the cap full of bleach into water. It's going to stain stuff. It's going to ruin stuff. The alcohol doesn't.
Sure.
Yeah. So it was our choice to go that way.
I like it. Now, so what's your max capacity given the 350 square feet that everybody has now?
So we were 10 every hour is what we were doing. We've cut it back to 6. And it from what we understand is that these, for California anyhow, the social distancing parameters are going to be here for anywhere from 12 to 18 months, which is 6 feet, use all your own stuff, etc. So I don't have enough equipment and enough racks and all that to be able to train the way that I want to train and have 10 people in here or 8 people. Mm-hmm. So we cut back. We ordered more equipment to be able to fill our 6 racks where everybody has one of everything. And so we're going to add an extra hour and be able to kind of bump people down a little bit. We have a lot of clients that have some flexibility, others that don't, looking at things seniority wise to allow some people that just have no flexibility in their schedules to stay where they're at. And we're building back pretty good. We've had, I'd say 10% of our clientele, especially our younger clients, late 40s, early 50s, that have lost their jobs that will just not be returning at all. Mm-hmm. We have probably another 20% that are not ready to come back. And the rest are ready to go right now, knowing that they're going to have like very varied schedules as everything starts to reopen. When we come back, they're going to eventually kind of merge back to their regular times. So it's challenging because some people are like, I'm not going back to work for another month. I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. Can I come at 8? Well, I got all my regular 8 o'clockers, that want to come in at that time. So we're trying to kind of balance those things and see where people fit, see who is coming back. We're definitely having to rebuild though. I mean, that's going to be, there's definitely going to be, 10 to 20% loss getting back. And then a lot of our clients didn't want to transition to online training because of technology and using Zoom and all this. And it took me weeks to kind of convince a lot of them to try it. And then once they got it going, it wasn't that bad, but we didn't just hit the ground running, full speed there either. So that was a whole transition as well.
Yeah. I think every trainer should expect some kind of drop off. Like I would say that it's around the same number for me of people who just are not ready to come back yet based on their own preferences or have a financial, situation with like being furloughed or, not being able to go back to work yet. So you probably have to, expect that there's going to be some kind of drop off. Perhaps I think for a lot of trainers, just getting creative with how often maybe you might need to add an extra class in order to accommodate the smaller class size, because you can't really just expect to just throw 20 people. If that was your situation before, like it was with me, I can't just expect to throw 20 people in a room, 4,000 square feet. It's not going to work. Like, people won't necessarily be happy with that.
Well, you have some considerations to think about between the county standards, the state standards, and then nationwide, what people are going to want. And so that's one thing to think of. In the state of California, they're saying in the county of Sacramento, they're saying one person every 250 square feet. So if you have 10,000 square feet, you have 25 people in there, right? I mean, you got room. But if you're here like me, we got 2,500 square feet, 6 people, 7 people, I'm going to be, right close to my max.
Pretty capped out.
But then if you look at the next county over, San Francisco, they're only allowed to do one-on-one right now. If you go a county up where I live in El Dorado County, everything's open. There's no standards. They just say, we'd advise you to do social distancing. Right. So really it just depends on where you're at. I just went and got a sandwich at Bel Air. Everyone has a mask on. Everyone has gloves, all this. By my house, we're up in the Wild West, up in the hills. No one wears masks. Like it's a trip that 30 minutes, right? 20 miles, whatever it is, there's that big of a difference in divide in where we are. So you're going to see that county to county, state to state. And some of you are going to be listening to this going, this guy's way overkill. I don't need to do any of that. You might be in Ohio. You might be in Colorado where the standards aren't that high. But in New York, they're doing more than we're doing, right? And in Pennsylvania, like in a lot of these other states in SoCal, if you're in LA County, in Orange County, they're not allowing anybody to get big groups of people together. So it's going to depend, I think, a lot on your square footage and then whatever your county is going to say your standards are. And if you haven't made contact with your county yet, it's good to at least get an email and a chain going and just some kind of involvement with them. The guy made a mistake. He gave me his cell phone number and I blew him up. Like every other day, I'm like, what's the word? What's the word? And he's like, I'll let you know. He just cut and paste, for a while there.
Thank you for the response, Robert, at this current time.
You shouldn't have given me that number, man. Yep.
I mean, we want to work. Like trainers got to train. It's like a fix we got to get met, So I definitely understand and I appreciate that feedback. Now, in terms of letting your clients know that you were going to go back to operating, how did you do it? Did you send out like mass email, a mass text? Did you put up a Facebook? I think I saw like a little bit of this on your Facebook.
Yeah, all the above, everything you just said. So we started with a mass Facebook post because like 90% of our clients are on Facebook. Sure. And it was just an intro. It was me with a TV screen behind me. And it was like, here's what we're going to do. And I took them through everything we just talked about, the temperature check, yada, yada, yada. And we said, that's everything we're doing, the programming, your space, your equipment. Here's the plan. The county, we showed it to the county. They loved it. And we showed them our letter. We had like a stamped, signed letter. Like it's legit. Like we wanted everybody to know we weren't just saying, oh yeah, they said we could. And it was mentioned in a phone call or something. This is real.
Right.
And so we announced that, sent it in an email. And then we also said, Rob, I'll be texting you to communicate schedule. So we've got, between John and I, we've got 120 people we then had to text and try to coordinate. And that's when we would find out, I've been laid off, I'm not coming back, I want to wait till August, etc. And so we set all that up, and that was 4 weeks ago. And so basically we're repeating that same process now. We have our email that goes out. Majority of our clients, probably 10 of them text me before I found out from the state that these were the new standards. And they're like, we just heard from a friend who knows the governor's, whatever it is that like, this is happening.
Yeah, some of them are chomping at the bit.
Yeah, they put me on alert, and I'm like, oh, sweet. So this is happening. And then 20 minutes later, I got the email that says, here's the new standard. So they were ready. They knew. Most of them have already texted me and said, can I have my spot back? And we've kind of coordinated and built maybe 50, 60% of our schedule back already without really even reaching out to everybody yet. So people are definitely ready to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. So if people are going to be ready, the best thing that you can do is make yourself as ready as possible to and this can be actually a golden opportunity for a lot of trainers to prove yourself as just somebody that takes care of their clients. If you're willing to invest in the right kind of sanitation equipment, the wireless, contactless thermometer, like that speaks volumes to people, and they will tell their friends like, oh, your gym isn't doing this, my gym is doing it. You know what I mean? So it might be a temporary loss, but I think like over time, you have to understand it feels like forever, but realistically it's been 3 months, So you give it a couple more months, especially when the hysteria dies down, and it could prove to be, beneficial for everybody. So you just got to do your best as always, and you'll be okay. You're going to build your clientele back up. You may get more people. unfortunately, there are gyms that are no longer going to return. So there will be people out there that I think there are going to be people that don't want to go to big box gyms that would rather know that, because how can you possibly keep a gym that large clean? Like going there, you're supposed to wipe down your equipment anyway. And it's not hard to find a piece of equipment covered in sweat. I got to tell you, there's no better person to follow than Robert. In all things training, I believe, but especially with the older adults. So if you're not following him, follow him, like this video, and then hopefully we'll be able to meet up again soon. It's been way too long.
Yeah, I agree. And yes, thank you. Thank you for that. That was very kind of you. And, you know, I think just to kind of wrap up, one thing that you really mentioned was the big box gym. We see a lot of them, a couple of them are declaring bankruptcy. A lot of them are not, going to be able to maintain what they were doing before. And the majority of those demographics are older. So they're going to be looking for somebody who is going over and above and really concerned about us. So I think you nailed it. I think that's absolutely right. And unfortunately, a lot of small studios aren't surviving. So I'm in a little coalition down here of fitness professionals. There's the big one, all of us, 78 of us, and then there's one of 8. And 3 out of those 8 have already called it quits. They're just like, we can't make it. Sure. So, and that's just right here in Sacramento. I can only imagine what it's like, nationwide. So I think taking a lot of steps and really showing people, I'll do whatever it takes to make sure you guys feel comfortable getting back in here. And, a couple $100 in some of these things, like you're saying, I think it's a good investment, especially to make things feel right and good from the get-go. Obviously, we're all going to taper off, with this stuff as we go along. We won't see everyone wearing masks. We won't see everyone standing apart. We won't see empty stadiums. Like eventually we're going to get back to that. It might take a year or whatnot, but be the leader with that right now. Be the one that stands out. And if people are like, yeah, you're doing too much, is that a bad thing?
There's no such thing. Yeah.
Is that a bad thing? I'd rather be that guy that's like, you're wiping everything down twice. Yeah. I don't want anything to happen to you.
I love that. Oh my God.
I don't want anything to happen to you. So, yep. And now one more thing too, is we have to screen us too, right? So we do the same thing for all the employees. So even though there's just 3 of us, my wife and John and I, we have a checklist every day. We have to do our own temperatures. We have to check us. If one of us is sick or feeling any of the things, we can't come in. So we're doing us too. It's not just our customers.
Temperature upper limit. Like if client is above.
For older adults, it was 99 or over is a no. For everybody else, it was like 99.6. It was 99.6 and 99.8 or something like that. It's really, really close, but
I'm
it was
not surprised
like,
that you would know this off the top of your head.
Yeah. Well, I have to look at it every day on my little chart there when I'm bringing them in. I should actually know it, but it was basically over 99.8. I think we had to send them back.
Okay, cool. Well, guys, now you've gotten the information, get yourself, listen, spend a couple $100. It's easy to waste a couple $100. All right. So spend it on something worth it, temperature, sanitation, maybe a little bit of tape, maybe some cones. I love cones. You might love tape. I don't care what it is. Whatever you got to do, make your clients feel comfortable. They'll stay with you. They'll refer people over. Other people hear about you. Record what you're doing. That's going to be impressive to other people. Absolutely. And I think we're going to be all good. We'll get through this.
Love you, my man. Thank you for having me on.
Robert, as always, thank you for being here. The brain drops knowledge again. And I'm sure, like, if anything comes on your mind and you want to talk about it, you just let me know. I'll be happy to speak with you.
You bet. All right. Thank you, bud. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good one. All right, so that's about it. I hope you found this video helpful. Remember, if you want to follow Robert, just go to Robert Linkle. That's his channel on YouTube, or you can follow his newsletter and his website, trainingtheolderadult.com. And I know you will be a better trainer for it. So take that advice to heart, apply it, and I'm sure you'll do well. I'll be back with more information. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section. Maybe it'll inspire my next video. But as always, remember to eat healthy, hydrate, drive safe. Stress those, go get rest. Don't stab anybody. Love your clients. I love you back. I'll see y'all tomorrow or the next day. And you have a good one.